Hello, I would like to call to order the Thursday, March 17th Clean City Commission meeting. Donna, want to take some roll call, please?
Commissioner Russell.
I'm here.
Commissioner Bowman. Here. Chairperson Woods.
Present.
Commissioner Case.
Here.
Commissioner Hollins.
I'm here.
Vice Chair Ober.
Here.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance
Of the United States of America and to the republic,
one nation under God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we'll go on to item 1, approval of minutes. Consideration of the February 17th, 2022 regular meeting minutes for approval as written or with noted corrections.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as written. I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 2 is consideration of public comments. Those wishing to address the Clean City Commission need not request permission in advance. Action taken as a result of public comments will be limited to directing staff to study the matter or rescheduling the matter for consideration and decision at a later time pursuant to ARS 38-431 et al. Donna, do we have any public?
I did not have anybody sign up.
Okay, thank you. Anyone in the public wish to? All right, well, we will move on to item 3, which is reports. And today we have hazardous waste drop-off event.
Good evening, Chair, Co-Chair, members of the Commission. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys this evening. I'm actually the fill-in or the sub for Rob. I'm certainly not as gifted as moderator, as an eloquent as speaker, but you're in good hands because we've got Donna, Eddie, and Glenn here to keep us on track. So anyway, with that, Mojave County has scheduled their semi-annual hazardous waste drop-off event for April 10th, 2022. We have Joanne Barcelano. Did I pronounce that right? Okay, great. Civil engineer with Mojave County's Environmental Quality Waste Disposal Services Department is here to explain what can and what cannot be disposed of and explain more about this program. And with that, I will turn the time over to her for a brief presentation. Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you for inviting me so I can talk about our Has Waste event. As you may know, it's Is this better? Yes. Okay, sorry. I'm a naturally soft-spoken person. Huh?
You can move that around anywhere as you want it.
Okay, sorry. I'm a naturally soft-spoken person. Okay, so thank you again for inviting me to talk to you about our hazardous waste event. As you may know, it's a twice-a-year event, one in the spring and one in the fall. We hold it both in Bullhead and in Kingman. The spring event this year in Kingman will be on April 10th. That's on a Sunday. That is our typical schedule. On Saturday, it's in Bullhead. On Sunday, it is in Kingman. If you've never been to the event before, here is an aerial. It's in the Mojave County Fleet Yard, directly adjacent from Dollar General. It will be from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., and we do close promptly at 1 p.m. Here's a list of what you can bring. It's pretty comprehensive. It's basically everything in a typical household, you know, your paints, gas, that sort of thing. I did bring extra flyers, so if you wanted to have a copy of what you can bring, I've left it for everyone. And in key things that I want to bring up is that we also take in tires. So if you have any tires in storage, just, you know, on your property, feel free to bring it to our event. We will take it at no charge, and you don't have to pay the fee at our landfill. This is what you can't bring. The key thing that I want to bring in is furniture. We do occasionally get people who try to give us their appliances and couches. We do not accept that. That is not a household hazardous waste. I know I kind of breezed through this presentation really quickly, so if you have any questions, I'm free to answer them.
Yes, is there a limit to how many tires somebody can bring?
No. As long as you get there on time, we'll take it.
I have a question in regards to the tires. Is it on the rim? Or-
Oh, yes, I apologize. I should have included that. It has to be off the rim.
Thank you.
We only take the tires.
Any other questions, comments?
Well, on the paints, any kind of paint?
Any kind.
Oils and lacquer and?
Mhm. We'll take it all. But what some people don't realize is you can actually just let that paint evaporate and turn into a solid, and you can dump that in your trash like normal trash. You don't have to necessarily bring it to the event. There also are products that can harden paint for you, and once it's a solid, you can just throw it in your trash. It's the liquid that is the problem. The fact that it's still in liquid form,
That
that's
was
the
going to be
problem.
my next question. Something like linseed oil that just never gets hard. Used to use it years ago for paint to mix with paint.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable?
It's not on our,
Okay.
what not to bring, so I would assume yes.
Well, that's explosives. That would
Yeah,
it
you
is.
can bring
It's a solvent, but it's an oil. That's what I was wondering.
You can bring, I've never had anyone ask that specifically, but you can come to the site, and we'll test it if
Okay.
it's acceptable. Or if you want, I can inquire that from so we hire a third party to dispose of the hazardous waste. So I can contact them and see if that's acceptable.
And the other thing, I've gotten oil from Unisource, which is basically mineral oil, but being used in transformers, it picks up PCBs. I've signed all kinds of papers that I would dispose of it correctly, and I don't know whether this would be correctly or not.
I've never had anyone inquire about that either, so I apologize. But if it's a mineral oil, is that what you said?
Mineral oil, yeah.
That
That's
that's a pretty common
Mm-hmm.
chemical used in your household, so I would assume we could accept it.
Okay, next question. Do you need help out there as far as directing traffic and checking loads before they even get in? Because I don't know if they'll be stacked up out in the street waiting to get their turn or not.
Typically, no. We because of COVID, we hire extra help
Okay.
to help with traffic control and unloading. But we have a full team and we have signs.
Good, okay.
Typically, in the morning, when everyone is an eager person and they want to beat the line, then we have like a line of 10 cars, and that's probably the most traffic control you really need to do. But as the rest of the day goes on, it's a pretty steady stream.
We used to do this years ago at the fairgrounds. It was a community cleanup rather than the hazardous waste, but the traffic was a real, no, the other thing, you're going to be having people sign up so you kind of get an idea of where this stuff is coming from. In other words, do a sign-in sheet.
No, we don't.
Okay,
And
good enough.
this isn't necessarily probably the official reason, but this is my own personal speculation, is that we would rather you bring us your waste than take it into the desert.
We did it to kind of get an idea as to where the major portion of our trash was coming from when we did it at the fairgrounds. And that was the only reason for people signing up a questionnaire.
I don't really think there's a lot of residents outside of our area that are coming to the Kingman event. Maybe the Bullhead event, since we're so close to Laughlin. But I believe most of the people that come to Kingman are in the Kingman area.
Okay.
But if you aren't, just come. We'll take your trash.
We had them coming all the way from Needles to drop this stuff off at Kingman, believe it or not,
Yeah.
in U-Haul trucks.
Yes.
Any other comments, questions?
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we will move on to number 4, old business, and listed under A, we have our event calendar. And it states monthly update of the Clean City Commission calendar of events, discussion and possible action regarding any new or rescheduled upcoming events.
Thank you, Chair, members of the commission. This item is a regular monthly meeting agenda item so that any events that may arise could be scheduled to be discussed and participation decided upon at the next monthly meeting. Staff has asked the commissioners look for events and activities that would benefit from Clean City Commission participation. Any additional events that the commissioners know of and which they think could benefit from Clean City Commission participation can be discussed at this time. City Manager Ron Foggin has scheduled a cleanup Monday, March 21st, to clean up the Clean City Commission's Adopt a Highway area by Bashes. The United Way is organizing and sponsoring the Day of Caring citywide cleanup on April 23rd. The Clean City Commission no longer has to organize this cleanup because the Adopt a Highway area is going to be cleaned on March 21st. The Clean City Commission could select a different area to clean on the Day of Caring, scheduled for April 23rd, 2022. The area must be selected by motion and a vote. At the February 17th, 2022 Clean City Commission meeting, the commissioners decided by motion and vote to provide trees for the Surbat Garden Club Arbor Day event on April 30th, 2022. And Dig It Kingman Community Garden is hosting the Dig It Dash on April 30th, 2022. They're looking for volunteers to assist with the event.
I'm confused. Monday, March 21st is our normal cleanup at Bashes to DMV, right?
That's correct.
And then April the 23rd, we're going to do it again?
Someplace different if you guys choose to.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that same area if you guys would like to select another area. Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you for clarifying, Donna.
We had conversations in one of our meetings about having another, cleaning up another area. And so this kind of falls in line since we didn't decide on the 21st, and since it's so close to next month, that we could use that date to pick another area that we could clean up.
Okay, so we haven't discussed what area?
Correct. Not yet.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've got a question about the cleanup on March the 21st. What is the time does that start?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Thank you.
A comment on that. On the March 21st, that's a pretty big area, all the way from Bashes to DMV on both sides of Andy Devine. A lot of times we never get a chance to do the whole thing because of the lack of participation. We just don't have enough people to do it. So I was wondering if there'd be some way of determining if we don't get enough of it done on March 21st, if we just continue from where we left off on down to DMV on the other side of the street, especially, that seems to get loaded up over on the west side of Andy Devine, and just continue on in our same area, other than right down by Bashes, between Bashes and Maverick.
Yeah, would that be for a different date, or?
Well, we had the 2 days. When we,
Yes,
when
sir.
we're going to find another place to do on
So you're-
the April Day of Caring.
So just so I'm clear, Commissioner Russell, you're proposing that that second cleanup be the west side of Andy Devine?
A continuation, because we never get it all done. That area
Gotcha.
is so loaded down there, we
Yes, sir.
never get it all done. And so I was to maybe just continue, an idea is to continue on where we left off.
Yeah, I think that's certainly an option. Yeah, yeah.
So as far as discussion with everyone else, originally, because with the commission, we've always, since I've been involved, done that one area in front of Bashes. And so I thought it would be a good opportunity to put our presence in another part of the city, in essence, to do a different area, since we're cleaning the one on the 21st, Monday. Is that Monday?
Do we
It is
know what
Monday.
areas are going to be cleaned up by the United Way people? Because they have a whole, they'll be doing that same Day of Caring cleanup, right?
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
That they will be
And
as
so
well.
they will be, of course, they'll have people handling Airway and Stockton Hill Road. Most of the main traveled areas, they'll have groups in there taking care of that on that particular Day of Caring. And so we don't really have any idea of what isn't going to be handled that we could handle.
I know that Mr. Owen had talked about suggesting Mojave Wash Trail, possibly, as another area,
Mojave Wash Trail is,
like between,
Beverly area?
yeah,
between
North.
Library and
the trail that
to
goes past
Northern, is that where
Goodwill and
it extends to?
Walmart.
That's
Eventually?
It does end up all the way down there. I'm not quite sure if Rob just had the city limits in mind, you
Yeah,
know?
well, he didn't
Yeah.
even consider that, because it's usually kind of messy, so he didn't consider even that far. He was thinking between
Beverly and Airway.
Burbank.
That would be the
Where's
link.
I think it is.
Burbank is the library.
Yeah, he was thinking of like the other side of Airway to,
So
I
it-
don't know what that street
That's
is.
Beverly, we're
Is it?
the one
Okay.
adjacent to the freeway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't want us to have to cross Airway, so whether we
Right.
did the upper section or the section beyond that.
That's a
Yeah.
big area, and there's always a lot of trash in there, and shopping carts and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that's a possibility.
I also have another area that it's probably not as bad as the other areas, but I pass it almost every day. And that's the area on Andy Devine from Stockton Hill down to the Beale Street split off.
Oh, are you talking about El Travador?
Well, if you make a right from Stockton Hill onto Andy Devine, you go down like you're going downtown, but you split off onto Beale Street to go downtown. That whole area, and there's a wash down there, and somebody's been dumping trash there, right there at that wash, right as you pass that canyon area. The cliffs, the cliffside. And it just looks bad, because I walked that area and,
Oh, I think I know where you're talking about. Just as you're coming down the hill, there's that road that goes off to your right.
Correct.
Before you get to the turnoff on Beale Street.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once you
it
turn
goes down
onto
into a
Bill
canyon.
Street, just that whole area is just,
Yeah, well, there was someone, a contractor, I believe, was using that as a dump area for a little while. I saw piles of trash there, and I imagine that's gonna get cleaned up by them, but it was a place to put it for the time being. Yeah, that's another possibility. I don't know whether the United Way has people, they do Andy Devine pretty good, and Beale Street. They have that pretty well covered, but, so I don't know what's going on with them.
just an idea.
So I have a question. So on our cleanups, like with the one in front of Bash's, we do along the right-of-way. How far, if we're doing another road, how far are we to go off of the road edge
I
approximately?
think it's my understanding that it all has to be within city right-of-way.
And so are you talking 10 foot, 50 foot?
I think once we determined a spot, we could certainly like pull up a GIS
Okay.
map to be able to hand out to give us,
Okay.
you know, kind of specific location or direction on what that right-of-way includes on those locations.
You're talking about the railroad right?
No, ma'am. No, it'd be like city right-of-way. Railroad right-of-way is different.
No, I know. You're talking about the city right-of-way button up against the railroad right-of-way, right? You're talking about that
I think
just
that there,
north of Bashes.
yeah, but does, and forgive me, because I'm not super familiar with the right-of-way in that location, but I didn't know that city right-of-way actually butted right up against railroad right-of-way. You know, I think there's some private property in between there that, yeah. But to your point, I understand, yes, I know where you're talking about.
I thought the last time Rob said it was 10 feet.
For city right-of-way. And that's probably accurate, yeah. I was just saying, you know, in that particular area, I think you guys probably have more familiarity with it than I do, but if we were looking at other locations, like Commissioner Russell mentioned, or Commissioner Case mentioned, then we could certainly provide a map, you know, that showed where the city right-of-way ends.
I have a comment I'd like to make on
Yeah.
Bash's. After the first time we started cleaning that up, and then I had some conversations with Bash's, and his comment to me was, he didn't even know, Bash's didn't even know we were going over there quarterly or whatever and cleaning up. He pays KLM to clean that up quarterly, and he told me, he said, if they're not doing their job, I need to know about it. And Cindy was the store manager at the time. He says, please tell Cindy, if it starts getting dirty, I'll have them do it monthly if I have to. So it was kind of curious to me why we're cleaning up somebody else's property who obviously has enough money to clean it up and has somebody contracted to clean it up quarterly.
What, you're talking about like they clean up the parking lot?
No, they're empty lots. So Bash's owns the 2 lots next to the store. I think we're all aware of that, maybe. He pays KLM not only do the parking lot, but to do those 2 empty lots quarterly, to pick up all the trash, the same stuff we do. So
Okay.
it was just something I wanted to throw out there, you know.
But our responsibility, we always say the Bashes, but the adopted block, if I'm right, goes from Bashes property to the DMV.
So
Yeah, and I
we
think
have
for
to
the
clean it up then,
purposes of
so-
this conversation, I would say we would still be responsible for the city right-of-way stuff. I think it's certainly a kind gesture on Bashas's part to offer to do that, but, you know, I know there's some permitting and stuff that also is involved with that Donna, you know, typically lines up on our end, that they probably should have in place if they're working in the right-of-way. So
No,
my,
no, it has nothing to do with the right-of-way. The 2 lots that you and I've been talking about.
right,
He pays KLM to clean those up quarterly.
right, but we're
And
not,
they own the lots.
we're not cleaning those though. We're cleaning the right-of-way portion, right? Or we're
Yes.
actually cleaning the lots themselves. Sorry.
Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry,
no.
maybe I'm wrong then, because
No, no.
last time I went, which was 2 times ago, we were actually in Bash's lots.
Gotcha.
Where the big
Okay.
construction
believe-
debris pile is,
Yeah.
cleaning up stuff
Yeah.
there.
I do not believe that that is like what our permit with ADOT entails.
Yeah.
But we have cleaned up that lot But our responsibility is what Mr. Yarborough said, to the right-of-way.
So to your point, Commissioner Oberg, I think that's, I think ideally, whoever their maintenance company is would clean up their private property portion, and we would still be responsible for the right-of-way portion. But that's a good point. I know that we have discussed that, and apologize, I needed some clarity on that, but I think that's how it should work.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because the areas that are right adjacent to Andy Devine, there's a grass area, and then the paved driveways that goes in front of Taco Bell and all that. Rob would bring a mower down and mow that grass after we picked it all up and make
Right.
that. So that probably is the city right-of-way there, and that would extend down past where we had the drop-off, when we had the containers out there to drop off for recycle. And that would be just about, I would imagine 20 feet all the way down to Mavericks.
Yeah, and
gas
keep in
station.
mind, located within that right-of-way or easement area, there's also some utilities, some specifically city utilities as well, some water, wastewater lines in there. So that easement is a little bit broader or wider than I think most, at least most that we're familiar with, but it does go some distance, off the back there, where typically I think a majority of them aren't quite as wide or quite as large.
Okay. So we've been cleaning an area way bigger than what we needed to clean in the last 5, 6 years that I've been doing this.
But also, my comment is, if after, I've noticed, because I live on that side of town, is after we go out there and clean, it's just some days a day, some days a few days, some days a week. It looked like we weren't even there.
Exactly.
So as far as like if someone else is doing the cleanup, that's just kind of revolving door around here. It's just one day it looks great, you better take your picture, and then the next day, the wind comes up and it looks like
I was going to
nobody's
say, if you want to adjust the weather, just go out and clean the street, and it'll blow like crazy the next day.
That is true. So are we wanting to make a decision today, or?
We'll have one more meeting between now and the April cleanup, won't we? Or will we?
Yes.
Yes, but I think it's pretty close.
It's close, yeah.
It's on the 21st, and the cleanup is on the 23rd.
I've got a comment.
Commissioner Hollins, welcome.
Thank you. Is the staff for the city going to be at that cleanup?
On the 23rd?
That is a
correct.
Saturday, so that is like a different day for us. But yes, we are going to be at that cleanup on the 23rd. Yeah.
23rd of March, right? So
23rd of
if we,
April.
right,
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the March one, where we're going to do our normal cleanup.
Yes, we will be there. Staff will be there.
So if we stick with the right-of-way area, maybe staff could do one side and Clean City Commission could do the other side, to get it all done in one day, or divide it evenly, or however, doesn't really matter, but as long as somebody's doing both sides. And we stick to the right-of-way, it should be a whole lot less area, not quite as much trash, maybe, but that was just my comment.
Well,
Thank you.
part of that is we started clear down at Flying J gas station. It wasn't just in front of Bash's. We started clear down in front of Flying J gas station and did that whole shopping area there.
Is that actually what we're responsible for, all the way down by Flying J?
It's
Right
my
there.
understanding that it starts in the grassy area that Commissioner Russell was talking about in front of Cal Ranch.
Oh.
And goes all the way down to DMV
Yeah.
and then across the highway, the same distance.
Okay. Thank you.
I think we should have a discussion on picking a place this meeting so we can get it set up, and that way on the April 23rd cleanup, we'll have a place in mind and not have to scramble in 2 days to figure out where we're going to go to.
I think that's an excellent idea. Would you like to make that in means of a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we pick a place for the April 23rd Dr. Highway cleanup.
What would that place be?
Do you want to include both of the places, and then we can have Keelan?
I think there are other people here that are more familiar with the town right now. I mean, I would personally pick the Beale Street area that I was talking about, because that's what I see all the time. But
Rather than
I
making a
don't,
motion now, could we just table it till next meeting and then make a motion at the next meeting as to what area we want to clean up? It only gives us a short time, but right now, we're sort of up in the air.
I got a comment on there's lots of areas around town that need attention. But I wasn't sure, I was talking like, because we go to Home Depot all the time, the area north of that parking lot. And there's a gully or a wash in there that's just loaded with trash bags and all, I think I saw Jimmy Hoffa in there, right? I mean, it's really like a jungle and trashy, and, I mean, maybe an area like that that's more where tourists come by and people go to the store there all the time, or by Cracker Barrel, that field north of that parking lot as well. It's more,
Yeah, and I know,
visible
to your point, Commissioner Carpenter, there's a utility easement in there. I don't know if we differentiate between utility easement and right-of-way, so forgive me for that. I could certainly check into it, but I know the location that you're talking about, and I think that might certainly be a viable option.
And that's a question too. Does it have to be along the right-of-way, or is it like any ground that has a utility easement on it?
I think it's my understanding that it would have to be city right-of-way. Yeah.
So one thing that we could do tonight is you guys could have a list of areas that you're interested in. We could have Mr. Yarborough find out the right-of-way and the distances and things, and then we could vote on that next meeting. Because we'll just prepare like we know where we're going,
Yeah, and I think I could follow up with you guys, if you had a list as soon as like Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Okay. I'd really like that wash that Rob was talking about between Airway and along, by the library. I'll get it out yet. I like that wash. That's one that, you see it from the freeway, people just driving by. You see that from the freeway, and and plus the people just coming downtown. That's could be a real eyesore.
well, I'd like to make a motion then that we go with Donna's,
Give her a list.
yeah, get the list and figure it all out where we can actually go and which would be most beneficial. And then we'll make a vote on the places next meeting.
Can I just run through that list one more time, Commissioner Case? So I've got Mojave Wash, the area that Commissioner Russell just spoke of, and I've got Andy from Stockton Hill Road to Bill Street, which is the area that Commissioner Case spoke about.
Yes.
Do we
And at
want?
the same time, maybe Donna or someone can check to make sure United Way doesn't already have that.
For sure.
These areas on their schedule. I know the library they wouldn't, but down on Beale they may.
Got it, okay. And then the other location, do we want to take, I know initially we were talking about the west side of Andy from Bashes to MVD. If we didn't have time to do the east side, do we want to keep that on the list, or do we think that we can pull that off since we've kind of condensed the area?
I think that's one that we'll know after.
After Monday?
Yeah, after
Yes, sir.
our cleanup.
Okay,
A couple of days after that.
so we'll leave it on and then touch bases and.
And so I'd also like to add what Commissioner Carpenter had said about the area across from or behind Cracker Barrel in that parking lot. I know in the past, when the day of caring comes along, they usually have bodies in there that are cleaning the area. but maybe we can verify if they know if they'll be in that area as well, and at least, you know, if it's available, then maybe we would add that one.
For sure.
Thank you.
That's an area that I was curious. They've got a really nice fence up there now that catches some of it, but there's still, it goes over the fence. So behind the fence is in the actual private property. That's a real disaster in there. I wonder if we could get a hold of the owner and see if it'd be all right if we put a team in there and clean that up a little bit. We could talk to United Way about putting the team in there as well, because that's a big area and it's just full of trash. I think that property is, that's owned by Crystal Burge, if I'm not mistaken. So we might check with her and see if she'd be willing to let us go in there.
Commissioner
But wouldn't
Case?
that be the property owner?
Pardon me?
Wouldn't that be the responsibility
You
of
would
the
think
property
so, but
code enforcement?
well,
It'd be
it's Crystal Burge.
similar to the Bashes scenario, right?
So
But-
Commissioner Case, could you restate your motion? Because we do have a motion on the floor that needs a second.
Oh, that's right. I'll second that motion.
Okay. So I think I understand that we're going to compile a list. The motion is to compile a list of the items that Mr. Yarborough listed off, and then we'll vote on those at the next meeting. Is
Yes,
that
that's correct.
Okay. And so we'll vote.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Arbor Day.
No discussion.
That's a different topic.
All in
Oh,
favor,
it's on
say
the
aye.
event calendar.
Aye.
Oh, sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, we're
Oh,
voting?
aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, now you guys can
Looking for volunteers. You discussed we were going to have it, right? At the last meeting, the Arbor Day,
Yes,
they were going to purchase the trees.
trees.
Okay.
And
Oh, what time?
She has not announced that yet, to the best of my knowledge. Sandy has not.
Okay.
The Dig It Dash is at 7 in the morning, and they are looking for volunteers to be along the route and hand out water and things like that.
And they had stated also that the trees, well, they had requested that the trees be planted there at Cecil Davis. Is that right, Cecil Davis?
At where?
Where Dig It's at, in that park there?
That's correct.
Oh, Cecil Davis
Yeah,
Park.
Cecil Davis.
Oh, okay, okay. We did those before, there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. We won't have our,
I think we did 7 trees there once before.
we won't have our garden lady there, our master gardener there. She always helped plant the trees.
No, she won't be there?
She died.
Oh. I won't be able to attend that. I will be out of town on that particular day.
Okay, so do we need a motion for the Dig It Dash participation? Or just let people know?
You could contact them if you wish to volunteer.
Okay. And same for the planting the trees participation? Just if we would like to attend, we could attend?
Yeah, since
Okay.
it's sponsored by Clean City Commission, the trees are sponsored, that would be nice.
Yeah, I will be attending that.
And, well, the chairman has to introduce the mayor and have, and
That's
say a
okay.
little piece. And
That's
so,
okay.
yeah.
I could
You have-
introduce you.
No, I won't be there.
All right. So, moving on, then, we will be going to item B, Community Outreach and Education, discussion, possible action regarding presentation topics for future meetings.
Thank you, Chair. Because it typically takes some time to arrange a presentation, this item will be included every month to give commissioners time to decide what topics and organizations they would like to invite to make future presentations. At the November 18th, 2021 regular meeting, a list of future topics was discussed. Upcoming topics include a presentation by Mojave County Flood Control regarding low-impact development and the annual biosolids and composting presentation from myself. Open meeting law training was presented at the February meeting, and the hazardous waste drop-off event information was presented at this meeting. Other topics that have been suggested include Arizona Department of Environmental Quality video on reducing and reusing biogas information and water conservation. At the February 17th, 2022 regular meeting, the list was discussed again, and the commissioners were asked for their suggestions. No suggestions were given at that time. If the commissioners have any suggestions for presentations, please email them to Mr. Owen or Mrs. Alderson.
Thank you. So do we have any additional information that we would like to?
Not at this time.
Okay, well then we're just gonna keep on going down the list to Community Recognition Program. Regular monthly update regarding the Community Recognition Program. This item is for information only.
Okay, I'll bring us up to speed on that. At the last meeting, we talked about losing the company that was doing our plaques. I found a new company, and she's already made 6 plaques for us. So everybody all the applications been turned in. The plaques I picked them up 3 days ago, and they're ready to go. So next week, Donna, myself, Rob, Keelan will all get together and start planning our attack on how to get the people, whether we're going to do it here or do it at their locations. One of the plaques we made 3 months ago was for 44 Builders. I can say the name now. Cliff, he owns 44 Builders. Excellent general contractor around town, keeps his properties real clean, his construction site's clean. He's been very difficult to get hold of. He's busy, he's in Bullhead, back and forth. Finally, after all day yesterday and half a day today, he texted me at 20 to 2 and said, I can meet you at 2 o'clock. So in a big hurry, I called Donna and I told him to meet us at Public Works. So he came to Public Works. He wasn't sure what was going on. He said, am I in trouble? And we brought him to the back and presented his plaque. So, I mean, everybody had goosebumps. It turned out just excellent, you know, and he left thanking us up and down. He got to the exit door and he turned back around again. He said, God, one more time, I just want to thank you, you know, for everything. So he's also already texted the picture of his plaque to 2 other general contractors, and I've already got a text from one of them saying, hey, how come I didn't get one, you know? But anyway, he's real proud of it, and it worked out real well today. But next week or 2, we'll get together and we'll, as a group with Rob and Donna, and we'll figure out how we're going to get the rest of the awards passed out. That's the update.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to know in the future when we have those so I can be available. Yeah, text us real quick. So moving next, service to the community program. Discussion and possible action regarding the service to the community program.
Great, thank you, Chair. 2 of the Clean City Commission members sent suggestions for an official name for this program. The names suggested are Helpful Neighbors, Clean Community, Neighbors Helping Neighbors in Kingman, Kingman Community Cleanup, Pitch In for Kingman, Detrash Kingman, Keep It Clean Kingman, Kingman Litter Cleanup, Kingman Helping Hands, Kingman Neighbors Helping Neighbors, Kingman Blight Fighters, Kingman Improvement Project, Beautifying Kingman Project, Kingman Clean and Green Team, and Kingman Blight Cleaners. The commissioners are asked to email name suggestions to Recording Secretary Donna Alderson so they can be included on a future agenda. If the commissioners have any suggestions that were not emailed in advance, they could be presented at this time. At the February 17th, 2022 Clean City Commission regular meeting, a draft brochure was included in the agenda packet, and the commissioners were asked to look it over and discuss any changes, or additions they would like to incorporate. Before the brochures can be printed and distributed, let me try that again, distributed, the commissioners should decide upon a permanent name for the program. An updated service organization and a list of senior organizations and churches are included in the agenda package. These lists can be updated with additional information as it becomes available. These organizations may be able to donate money or materials, provide volunteers, or recommend people who would benefit from the program. If the commissioners have approached any of their contacts that are interested in participating, please email their contact information to Donna or Mr. Owen.
Thank you. So I've looked at the names, and I just think it's really nice that someone was more creative than myself and was able to come up with not only one or two, but 14 different names. So whoever that was, if it was 1, 2, or 3, however many, thank you very much. Some of my favorites that I liked, since the program is going to encompass a few different things, I liked the standard, either the improvement project or the beautifying Kingman project, because I kind of thought, I liked the helping part, but it doesn't really say what we do. And so if we're doing some type of, with, you know, keeping it clean or just the cleanup part, it may just seem like we're removing trash or debris, that type of thing, when I believe we're going to be doing small other types of tasks. So that's just my input. Yeah, and I think those are going to be determined whenever Rob or whoever goes out and they see what the property needs, that type of thing. If it's just painting, or if it is, you know, trash removal, or, you know, minor stuff. But everybody has a different version of minor, so I think it kind of depends on the property, is what I would assume. Yes.
Yep, that's correct, and that's my understanding as well. So.
I've got a question. We spoke a while back about cleaning up property, you know, citizens who couldn't clean up their property. Is that part of this program, or is that something different?
Yes.
That is this program.
Okay.
And we've called it Service to the Community because we've struggled with the name for a long time.
Okay.
So hopefully tonight we'll be able to pick one of these 14 or another if someone we can all agree on it. But
See, I think the Helping Hands I like a lot. That's almost nationwide. Wasn't sure if we were able to use that or not, but Kingman Helping Hands, or it doesn't have to be Kingman Helping Hands, but like Teresa said, Helping Hands for Beautification or something like that. But the Helping Hands, I mean, basically that's what we're doing. We're giving an extra hand to people in need, you know, and Helping Hands. I like that one, so.
I remember Rob was saying that they had to get some kind of wording or authorization to be able to go onto these people's property. Has that been secured?
Maybe Donna could speak to that. I don't know if we've gotten like waiver forms yet drafted.
We have worked on and drafted
Gotcha.
waiver forms. They were approved by our safety
Risk management.
risk management department and the city attorney's office. So, yeah, so we
That's
have
right.
that in place. Really, the only thing keeping us from moving forward is naming.
And I apologize for being slow to come around to that question. That was at least a couple meetings ago that I think
Yes.
that got approval, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Teresa said, thank the people that came up with 14, but I do like the word Helping Hands,
I think it's only missing the 15th, right?
right? I don't know.
Or Kingman Community
Can I take a
Cleanup
look at that?
Project.
Kingman Helping Hands. Kingman Community, yeah.
And are the properties, they're going to be in the city, correct? So should it be
Yes.
City of Kingman instead of just Kingman? We don't, I mean, oh, he's laughing at it.
Blight fighters.
Well, I like to say I like the Kingman Helping Hands, because it sounds like we're helping. And I also like the Beautifying Kingman project, because it sounds positive reinforcement. Some of the terms could be, yeah, taken a different way, you know, I mean, just depending on who you're speaking to. So, I like those two.
Could you use those together? That's what I'm intertwined hands and then like a subtitle describing who's the other one under that.
Without getting too wordy. Has to fit on a brochure.
Right.
How about Helping Beautify Kingman project?
We used to have a logo, I don't, it's not on the back of our shirts anymore. Keep it clean, make it routine. I wondered if we would put the word Kingman and then keeping it clean by making it routine. Instead of just keep it clean, make it routine. Something to think about.
I feel like keeping it clean isn't the purpose of the community outreach program. It's more of a helping hand to,
But
and we don't have to use helping hands as the word, I don't.
We are the Clean City Commission, though.
You're right. We keep trying to keep it clean, but
What was the Helping Hands and the Beautification Project? I think if we can combine those it'll give it a name and it'll describe what the Helping Hands are all about.
Well, my thoughts is that's too long.
Too long?
Because if you're talking about a program, you want it to be short, to the point, so everybody understands what you're doing.
The one that says something about project is a good one, just keeping it short. Something project.
So there's two listed under the project, Kingman Improvement Project and Beautifying Kingman Project.
I like Kingman improvement, because if you're beautifying it, you're improving it, so you kind of set it all right there.
Yeah, both of those state, if, you know, if you're in that program, the property is going to be improved.
Yeah.
Beautification or just improvement, either way, they're kind of the same, just one's just a fancier way of saying it. Commissioner Hollis, any comments on this item?
He left.
The only thing I was thinking, I don't have any more new name for it or anything, but just to remind everybody, I guess it's not going to be just a Clean City Commission project. It's going to be a collaboration of several departments and stuff that are going to be involved in the beautification or improvement or whatever it is that we're doing. So that's all I had.
Thank you. So do we feel we're ready for a motion and a vote on a name?
Yeah, I'm good with what.
I'll make a motion that we make it Kingman Improvement Project.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, vote aye.
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 All opposed?
Nay.
nay,
Nay.
3-3.
Commissioner Hollis?
Nay.
Okay, so that is it.
Just for clarification, Commissioner Holland, was that a nay?
Correct.
Thank you.
I do have a comment on, maybe we could pick a couple and vote on them and see who gets the most votes.
We started with one. Would you like to make a motion?
let's see, I gotta get back to the information here. The only reason why I voted nay is because there wasn't a choice on a couple, so, not that it was a bad name. I would make a motion that we consider the beautifying Kingman project and the Kingman Helping Hands name and vote between
And
those
just,
two.
I'll throw a comment out. You know, we are helping private individuals that are in need. So Kingman beautification project, all that terminology kind of is a citywide type thing and not a individual personal property. And the community outreach is for personal property, helping people in need. So I just really feel like we need to focus some kind of verbiage in that manner, like the helping hands.
Kingman Helping Hands Project.
So there's a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? And that was for two of the names, and I believe to have a vote on, Donna?
So, Commissioner Hollins, could you restate your motion?
I make a motion that we consider the beautifying Kingman project and I think that was the right one, and the Kingman Helping Hands project as a choice to vote for.
Okay.
So we'll need a
We vote
second.
individual.
There's a motion, so do we have a second?
For which one? I mean, we need to have a motion on each individual one, correct?
Well,
Mr.
he
Hollins?
wants to narrow it to two and then narrow it.
We could, what I make the motion was to take two, whichever ones they were, and vote on those as a choice as being a top vote. And we can do it again for additional ones and narrow it down to what we like best and then vote overall. This is just to get a base to start from, I guess. Narrow the field down of which ones we want to consider. Without, if we have 8 choices and we only got 7 voters, it's not, doesn't work very well. Or 15 and trying to narrow it down to 7 voters, it doesn't work. So that's my thinking.
I second that motion that we pick either one of those two.
Number 8 or number 12, right, on the list?
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Nay.
Motion passes.
I make a motion that we pick Kingman Helping Hands.
Project? Or just Kingman Helping Hands?
Yeah, I'm sorry, what's the full verbiage?
Well,
That's it.
Just
That's-
Kingman Helping Hands.
Okay, we need to vote on the first one to pick the best one of the two, and then we could add more.
Yeah, we'll vote on both. I make a motion, we pick Kingman Helping Hands. And project to the end, I'm sorry, thank you, Donna.
Okay, we were going to vote on 2 of them.
Well, one at a time, though,
Well, we
Teresa?
voted on the first motion, correct?
we were going to pick 2, now we have to pick 1. That's what we're doing.
And out of the second one, Commissioner Olberg added a new word to number 8, where it says Kingman Helping Hands Project.
I thought that was the motion.
I second Commissioner Olberg's motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, vote aye.
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 Agree to that.
All opposed? Nay.
Nay.
Was that 7? So
Do we need a
motion,
roll call?
It would be 5 to 2 is how I counted.
okay. Motion passes. Our new name is going to be Kingman Helping Hands Project.
But we didn't vote on the first motion. We voted to have the pick of the two, but we didn't ever vote which one we wanted to put up against what Rob put up.
I thought we just voted on.
So we voted on the
Well-
first one and it was 5 to 2. And so you're saying we should be voting on the second one?
The first motion was to pick the two and vote which one of the two we wanted to move forward on. And then we could add additional ones until we narrowed it down to, that was the choice of the, we
Okay.
ran out of options of voting. That was my understanding.
Wait, just a minute, okay.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
I am too.
How I
No.
understood the motion, how the motion was spoken, was to consider one of these two names. There wasn't anything added on that saying that we had to vote on both of the names. The way I understood the motion was, it was between those two names. Maybe I misunderstood, but now we've made this motion and we voted on the name that you've chosen. I think we're done.
Which is,
Kingman Helping Hands Project.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was that one of the two that I recommended?
That was number 8
Number
with another word added.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was in the two that I picked other
Yep.
than the additional
Yes.
word? Okay. I can live with that.
Okay.
Now that I know what I'm living with. Sorry for the confusion.
Okay, so next item is letter E, adopt a block update, regular monthly update, discussion and possible action regarding adopt a block program.
Great, thank you, Chair. The Loyal Order of Moose has renewed their Adopt-A-Block permit and has scheduled 2 cleanups, one on April 23rd, 2022, and the other on September 17th, 2022. They're in the process of arranging their safety briefing with Ed Tapia, our solid waste superintendent. The cleanup area is on Monroe Street from Jackson Street to Adams Street and Wallapai Mountain Road to Lily Avenue, sorry. Kingman Kindness, first cleanup was held on February 19th, 2022, and was successful with 6 participants and 10 bags of trash collected. Both Kingman Kindness and MCC Kingman Chamber of Commerce's signs have been made and posted in their areas. MCC Kingman Chamber of Commerce first cleanup is scheduled for April 25th, 2022. And an updated list of current Adopt-A-Block participants have been included in the agenda packet.
Thank you. So I would just like to add that I've just now saw this nice little volunteer flyer on the back, which is really nice. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that. Or Commissioner Case, this was you? Oh, thank you so much.
Not my original artwork, no. It's my idea.
Great. So now we have lots of things we can, litter with, but that's okay. But I have contacted some folks. I don't have any update right now, but I'm hoping once the kids are out for spring break right now, so hopefully I'll be able to follow up with that, and some of the organizations as well. So hopefully next month on my end, there'll be more information, at least from my perspective of what I've been doing.
I also have contacted two groups. One I just had to leave information with. I haven't heard back from them, so I'm going to follow up this month with them. And the other group, they said they've already spoke to somebody on the commission, and that they're going to get in contact with them. So,
Okay, that could be me. Maybe.
And I have the same thing. I haven't heard back on anything yet, so it's all hanging still.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. We will move on to item F, Clean City Commission duties and responsibilities. Discussion and possible action regarding Clean City Commission's duties and responsibilities.
Thank you, Chair. At the January 20th, 2022 regular monthly meeting, the commissioners were provided with a copy of the City of Kingman ordinance that spells out the duties and responsibilities of all of the city commissions. The city attorney is currently working to update the ordinance, so now is a good time for the commissioners to go over the ordinance and the duties and responsibilities to see if they have any input or suggestions for changes. This item was discussed again at the February 17th, 2022 Clean City Commission meeting. At that time, Mr. Owen asked the commissioners to consider what, if any, changes they would like to see made to the ordinance, and those items could be discussed at the March meeting. Mr. Owen also asked the commissioners to each make a top 3 list of what items they feel are the most important projects for the Clean City Commission. The actual ordinance is what governs the Clean City Commission, not the verbiage on the website. After the ordinance has been rewritten, the website will be updated with the most current information. The ordinance has been included in the agenda packet. And I'd just like to add, I know this one's somewhat complex. Not trying to take the easy road out here, but I think, you know, with Rob's experience in this and his involvement, I would like to defer this to when Rob returns. But again, going back to the list of 3, you can certainly submit those to Donna or Rob.
I have a quick question. So Rob had said it was going to be on the city council meeting this week. Do you know if that, it was?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Rob had kindly sent me some notes pertaining to that specifically. So the city attorney presented to council on Tuesday issues with the lack of attendance, ability to meet quorum, possibility of most commissions potentially going from 7 to 5 members. He indicates that he didn't know how this would work. Some commissions could transition to quarterly stakeholder meetings, and asked for council input on city residency requirements, term lengths, term limits. Received some input from Commissioner Carpenter. So there was an update, and I apologize. I didn't attend that council meeting, so certainly, you know, reading off of Rob's notes.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully that answered your question somewhat.
It did.
Okay.
I'm going to YouTube it. Any comments? Okay. So we'll go on to announcements by commission members. And we will start out with Commissioner Bowman.
I have nothing.
Commissioner Case.
I have nothing tonight.
Vice Chair Oberg.
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Russell.
I don't have anything.
Okay. We're just going to skip up there to Commissioner Hollis.
Thank you. I just spent a week in Tucson attending a water harvesting design certification course, and I have some additional work I have to complete after I finally get home here. But I did complete the course and looking forward to getting some stuff started, but that's what I've been doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Case. Carpenter. Commissioner Case.
I have nothing tonight.
Okay.
I have nothing
Commissioner
to know.
Carpenter. Hey, you know, I'm not sure why that is so difficult for me to remember. My apologies. So I just wanted to let folks know that there is an all-public health fair coming Friday, April 22 at the fairgrounds, Mojave County Fairgrounds, from 1 to 3. The reason it kind of spiked my interest, they're going to be having demonstrations on quite a few things, such as how to grow a garden, and also about healthy eating, yada, yada, yada. But I just thought it was interesting for, you know, that kind of goes down the path of some of the things. I also saw an advertisement for free removal of used appliances. And so I reached out to this gentleman, Robert Runner is his name, and he states he's been doing this for about 5 years, and for him, it's about giving back to the community and trying to clean up some of the clutter. So I thought that was like perfect with what we do. So if you have some items that you'd like to get rid of, it wouldn't hurt to contact him if you miss this hazardous waste coming up. And his name was Robert Runner, and his phone number was 928-293-0439. I introduced him to the commission, and when we meet, and welcomed him to come down and be a part of us trying to clean up some of that clutter as well. We're looking for teams of 2 commissioners, 2 commissioners each for the projects we're currently promoting. So if the commissioners would like to contact me individually by email or phone call, just make sure it's just not that respond to all, in the order of what preference you'd like for the programs. So this would help the commission to get more feedback on the specific programs that we have, because when I first started, we didn't have very many, and so we were kind of getting a lot on the table. So if everyone could do that, that would be great. And that's all I have. So with that being said, meeting adjourned. Oh. Okay, so let's back up. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, vote aye.
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 Did he say nay? Motion, motion adjourned. I was like, did I hear that?